This project started about 7 years ago. I made a short film called Casting Gray. It wasn't so short, it was 39 minutes long. The origin of that film was a strange dream that I had one night. I wrote a script based on part of that dream, and we made the film. We sent the film to festivals in 2004 and 2005, and it won some awards. From that point on, the idea was, of course, to make a feature film, but financing was very difficult. I wrote several different scripts for several different feature films that were too expensive to produce, so we decided to start with the short film that we already had. It was designed to go into two different directions, with two different interpretations at the end. So the idea was to create two different scenarios and two different outcomes for the decisions the main character makes in the film, in both films. The whole gray part came from the short film Casting Gray, and from that point on, the dream play and the choice incorporated that great part, and in essence, that was the starting point for both films. The main theme of both films is identity, which I'm obsessed with because I'm an immigrant. I came from a country that does not exist anymore, Yugoslavia. When you're an immigrant in this country or any other country, you have a problem with changing identity because you're not the same as you used to be before. There is also something I call metaphysical cinema, which is where I'm inclined to go. I'm interested in the themes and ideas that concern everybody. So there are very interesting points when you're talking about the theater and actors. Their identity is in question whenever they play roles. So that basically is the great connection to the main theme of both films. The other thing that interests me is the nature of the creative process. It is a godlike feeling when you create, especially for artists. That is explored in both films, but in the dream play is much more because there is the writer who writes the play and then the actors who perform it. The writer or director has that godlike feeling in a sense. That is something that I was always interested in. Also, messing with somebody else's life is another way to play God, which is the point of the film choice, the choice. Getting involved with somebody else and pushing his or her decision one way or the other is, in effect, playing God. The dream play is the fork in the road film. In this film, the main character decides to live, to exchange identities with the hitchhiker. The idea in both films is that you have at least two different interpretations of it, so nothing is set in stone. You could interpret the first film, the dream play. It could be just an existential possibility in the main character that he had this epiphany before he died, and it's just the possibility in a dream. It also can be straightforward. He chose to live, and now there is a new life. In the choice, the film The Choice, he makes a different choice, and now he dies. You can call that a film about death or a film about life, the life of the characters who survive him. In a sense, nothing is really direct. Everything is implied. The subtext exists in both scripts and in both films, and it's very heavily laid down. Within the symbolism, there is a communication. The simple dialogue between the characters is a game. Communication is a game. Sometimes it is purposely designed, sometimes it just happens that way. But in playing the truth in light game, that is essential for their communication in both films. Very interesting question. Well, you can say that there is a mystery in human beings and in any human being, in any person, in any personality. Nobody has a pure, explicit personality where I can say, I know this person, or I know what this person thinks of me, or anybody else. There is nothing that we can really know. I don't really know what you think of me, or in a sense, what your questions mean. You might have other ideas behind them, rather than a straightforward question. Well, not even my wife. I don't know what she thinks of me, though she claims she loves me. I'm not sure. You can never be sure of anything, and that is the essence of any character that appears in both films. People really try to figure out someone else, but you can't, because it's impossible to become somebody else, which leads back to the question of identity. Again, what is identity? Do we understand the identity of other people? Can we really perceive that as something knowable? Inevitably, I have a different perspective coming from a different world. First of all, there was this image of the great United States of America and the whole notion of coming to the land of the free and the home of the brave. That changes when you come and actually start living here. Well, gaining that perspective and getting the different education, social and communication skills here, it is of a great benefit for anybody who makes art or films in this country. My perspective is different because I know a little bit more than anyone who has just lived here. It was also a disadvantage because I came here late, much later, not as a kid. And I do have an accent, obviously. Learning how to think, write, read, and dream in English was a long process. It took me 7 years to really start writing in English, screenplays in English. That is sometimes good and sometimes bad because I lost so many years trying to communicate my ideas in a different language. There are several of them. I think the closest to the ideas and themes I'm dealing with is Polish director Krzysztof Kieslowski. That metaphysical cinema we were talking about, trying to express something that is inexpressible. There were homages to him everywhere. I couldn't resist the part in the Dream play where the characters are drinking coffee, espresso coffee. One character dips the sugar cube in the coffee cup, and the cube becomes dark and absorbs the coffee into the white cube. That's a direct reference to the film Blue from Kieślowski's trilogy, Blue, White, and Red.